T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler. He's your only black friend, so he's your best black friend. Because black friends are rare, as you should be aware. He smiles like Richard Pryor, so just sit and stare. It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler. It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler. It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler.
Hello everybody, Tyler here. So I'm just gonna chat about martial art movies with the finer print. How you doing? Hello? Can you hear me? Oh my god. I don't know what just happened right here, but I'll try to just talk while he's still getting his stuff worked together. But yeah, basically for the whole entire case for martial art movies, it seems as though that I guess my first ever exposure to the genre is like really hard to pinpoint. I would probably say like my first ever one I ever seen out of like when I was younger was basically maybe like the Rush Hour movies or oh, there you go.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just had to go and kill a spider.
Okay. All right. So yeah, basically what I was saying was like my first ever exposure, but I'm gonna get back to the answer. But basically, one of my first ever exposure to martial art movies, I think, was probably like Rush Hour, and then the Jackie Chan Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I guess like the real first ever one from like Hong Kong was maybe like one of the Bruce Lee movies, which was Enter the Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I just saw like a lot of these movies. Like I saw movies, from Jackie Chan. I saw like a lot of the Saw Brother movies. I haven't
the Shaw Brothers.
Yeah, the Saw Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been exposed to like a lot of different movies.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your first ever one?
Ooh, well, Bruce Lee is I think everybody's first. Really, everybody saw the Enter the Dragon and Big Boss. I think probably the best Bruce Lee movie is Big Boss. Fire me. I don't know. I don't care. But I guess my really big exposure to martial arts movies as we know them today in their current format is probably Once Upon a Time in China with Jet Li. I don't know if you've seen that one or not, but movie...
It's kind of funny because I actually own it.
Oh, okay. I consider that movie to have redefined the genre as we know it in terms of what you can actually accomplish in terms of a martial arts movie. Because up until then, a lot of this stuff was very hokey, or it was very Jackie Chan, which is very comedic, which is fine. You know, it has its place. But this was a serious, almost a Western, if you will, of a martial arts movie. So
yeah, matter of fact, there was this one entry, I believe, in the same series where not Jackie Chan, but Jet Li's character went to some sort of Western setting in the Southwest. And he was trying to, 5. And it was like really funny just to see like how he reacts to like, I guess, Southwest American culture and things and the culture shocks behind it. So it was really fun to watch that entry too.
Yeah, that entry was pretty hilarious to me because of the people that they chose to act in this movie in terms of the Western characters and the hilarious dialogue that they had in that movie. I mean, you just listen to it and you know that it's the actors saying the lines. It's not overdubbed. It's something that they said live and they caught on tape. It's
Yeah,
just
that's fun.
hysterical.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about these like movies. Like at least the earlier ones for martial arts, they were just filmed like entirely silent. Just like with the Italian movies in the past, like they actually just post up everything, including the Chinese tracks. And so like so basically they would get the like they shoot it silent, they would just dub it over, have the sound effects, everything else. But like man, the process to edit everything must have been a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, they at that time they were still editing on film. I think up until 5, I think 5 actually was edited on a computer because there is a little bit of CG in that. Just a couple of shots here and there, and they were experimenting a lot with it. But everything else was edited on film. Razor blades and duct tape, basically.
Yeah, I feel kind of fortunate nowadays because when I was a teenager, I also used to make these sort of short movies. And so what I had to do during those time periods, like at my summer camp, oh no, ouch.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. It's just a little
You
loud.
kill a spider?
Yeah. Oh god. Okay, you need to probably turn down the volume. It's kind of rumbling right now.
Oh, is that better?
Okay, it's better.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, that was unexpected. But getting back to my like little story, but basically what happened was I used to make these short movies in the past, and what I had to do, I had to get like this camcorder. Like back then, I had to put tape in the camcorder to record stuff with my team members, and then we would shoot the movies for a week. We edit them on a computer, but we had to import the footage from the tape. And nowadays, of course, it's easier because you could just use your phone, just record stuff. You use your USB and just edit stuff that way. So I cannot imagine just the process, just to record stuff on film and then just edit it later like that by hand. That would be a nightmare for me to do.
Yeah, and I'm an editor by trade. That's what I do for a living. So
Really? Like
Yeah.
for like what kind of certification? Like for what editing software?
I use Premiere a lot, Final Cut Pro if it's called for. I haven't done anything on DaVinci or anything like that, but I do a lot of corporate projects, to editing for internal communications and stuff like that. So
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's cool because like when I was shooting like my amateur films at the camp, I basically used Final Cut Pro too. And it was kind of funny because like it was like my first ever kind of exposure to like editing, because everything I learned about editing I learned from the camp, and then when I just started with the YouTube videos, it was actually the same sort of thing. I guess you could say like, because of that experience, it helped me with the YouTube videos. So
Yeah, no doubt.
yeah, but I still have an iMac that I use to edit my videos, particularly, and it's not necessarily Final Cut Pro that I use for those kind of YouTube videos, just mostly
Interesting
like
you should say that because Final Cut Pro 10 is actually closer to iMovie than Final Cut Pro 7 was.
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, they simplified it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but nowadays I don't necessarily use Final Cut Pro for something like a YouTube video. What I just use is like iMovie because it's not that much requirements.
Exactly, it's simpler that way.
Yeah, but getting back to the topic, but it seems as though I guess like the first real ever. Your microphone is kind of buzzing again.
Oop. Sorry, is that better?
Yeah, it's better, much better.
Sorry about that.
Okay, so I guess the first ever real exposure, I guess the big hit for martial art movies for America was just, I believe it was Five Fingers of Death or King Boxers, as it's called nowadays.
It was like Western success?
Yes.
I would say that Bruce Lee was the first and probably the last for about 20, 25 years. I think the biggest international success that you saw was actually in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Oh yes, that's true.
Outside of that, I mean, really, maybe Once Upon a Time in China was one that managed to crack the Western market, but not by much.
That's true, because I remember like back in the early 2000s, like everybody was talking about Crouching Tiger, everyone. I think in terms of the raw numbers alone, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe it's like, the most successful films with subtitles that's been released here.
Yeah, but interestingly enough, not that successful in mainland China.
Oh, how come?
Because first of all, it was a co-production. It was not a Chinese studio acting by itself. It was a French production company and a Chinese production company that were working together with a Hollywood connection. So it was an internationally made film, and they chose for some reason to do it in a really old Chinese dialect. So all the Chinese people were going to the cinema watching it and going like, why do I need to read the subtitles when they can speak Chinese?
It's kind of funny because I remember reading something similar where I think some of the stars are not native Mandarin speakers. Like,
No.
I think
Chow
what
Yun-fat
was
and Michelle Yeoh are both not mainlanders. Actually, she is from, I want to say Indonesia or Malaysia. Sorry, she's from Malaysia, and he's from Singapore originally.
wow. And
Yeah.
so I guess it's kind of sound weird to them to hear them speaking with, I guess, like Cantonese accent and Mandarin or.
No, that's the thing. They can speak Mandarin. Most Chinese people who are in Hong Kong nowadays can speak both, and at varying levels of success, but they can. But what they did was they decided to choose a very old dialect. Have you ever seen Passion of the Christ by Mel Gibson?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Okay, so it's all in Aramaic. So even me, who's a native Hebrew speaker, couldn't understand 90% of the movie. Okay.
So it was like in some sort of older kind of Aramaic.
Yeah, it was like watching it in Aramaic, and so for the Chinese market, it didn't work because people were like tuning out. I'm like, I don't want to watch this. It's boring. I have to read the subtitles because in a Chinese speaking movie, what the hell? So
wow.
it bombed in China.
And
they never did it again. Every movie that comes out nowadays, even the sequel, I don't know if you know this, but there's a sequel to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
I heard it was actually released by Netflix, if I'm not mistaken, but I've never seen it.
Yeah. Saw the first 20 minutes. It has Michelle Yeoh and Donnie Yen, which you would think would work, but oddly enough, it doesn't. I think Donnie Yen, as a martial artist, as a movie star, he's well secured in his legacy. I just don't think that this is the franchise for him.
Yeah, the thing for like Donnie Yen, I think, wasn't he like the Ant-Man or whatever? I forgot.
Ip Man.
Okay.
Ip Man.
Yeah.
The first 2 or 3 movies are very, very good. The fourth one just completely ruined it for me.
Okay, because I've seen the first 3 movies, but I haven't seen the fourth one. So how bad is the fourth one?
It's spare yourself the watch. If you want to look up some of the fights, they're decent. I mean, it's Ip Man, it's Donnie Yen. You have Sammo Hung behind the camera, either directing or doing the fight choreography, so it's going to be good. That's not the problem. The problem is not the fighting sequences. It's everything that's in between. The message, the narrative that's coming out of more current contemporary martial arts movies nowadays is a lot more nationalistic, meaning they're pushing more and more propaganda. Ooh, beware the white people that are coming in from America to steal your jobs, and very, very nationalistic, very communist propaganda.
It's kind of sad too, because I remember hearing about I believe Jackie Chan and how he's no longer popular in Hong Kong because of his views with the Communist Party, and so that's why he's unpopular right now.
It's a misconception, I think. Not that he's not. Actually, was in Beijing back in 2018. I want to say November of 2018, and my hotel was right next to the Jackie Chan. I guess you can call it a movie theater / museum. I didn't go in, but it was very like weird to see it. It's just a building with his face plastered all over. So yes, while he is very popular in China, he doesn't actually live in China. He splits his time, I think, between Hollywood and Singapore. And he doesn't stay in Hong Kong either. But the problem that they're doing with the Chinese Communist Party is doing right now, and I'm sorry for going for a political tangent here, is that they're utilizing these star powers that they have. Like Jet Li just did a movie a few years ago, kind of like the Chinese version of Birth of a Nation. Okay, like all of the story behind how the Communist Party came to power. I think it was like the 75th anniversary or something like that. And he was there, front and center. Guy was born in Beijing. He's a mainlander through and through. So he's been indoctrinated since day one, even though he's, claims to be a Buddhist and all that stuff. He was still there. And it was really disappointing for me to see that.
Yeah. But getting back to like the topic, one thing that you mentioned was like your first ever exposure, I guess, was Bruce Lee, and that you think that The Big Boss is like your favorite movie. Yes. So why is it like your favorite of all the Bruce Lees?
It can all boil down to the fight scene with the out in the open there. I think it's in construction site, I want to say. I mean, it's been a while since I've watched it. It is a good movie.
Yeah, like I think what happened was like they were being picked on by the management, and then like they had this sort of brawl going on with the co-employees at the ice factory, because I think they were like smuggling some sort of drugs like cocaine, whatever. And then like one of them just hit Bruce Lee, and then he starts to attack them, and he becomes the manager or something. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's part of the story. But the other side of that coin is that Bruce Lee's production company was Triad. And I don't know if you're aware of what the Triad is, but it's kind of like the Chinese mafia. And they owned a big chunk. This is one of the reasons why he left Hong Kong. They owned a big chunk of his revenue from Big Boss.
Wow.
And that's one of the reasons why he left, and then he came back later.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing that before, but I do remember hearing that during the production for Big Boss, and I probably said it before on my other streams before, but I remember saying that he basically was, trying to get some sort of contract, I believe, with Saw Brothers, but then he decided to go to Golden Harvest because they have much more creative freedom in comparison to like the Saw Brothers, because they had like an old-fashioned kind of Hollywood type of system that had little pay, whereas Golden Harvest allowed him to have more pay in comparison. So, and I also heard he probably had some sort of clashes with the director for the Big Boss because he thought that some stuff are like not realistic, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Even though it's probably one of the most realistic fights that you can have in a Bruce Lee movie. I mean, don't get me wrong, his movies are great, but their choreography, again, like I said, genre redefining, yes, for its time, but at the end of the day, pretty dated.
Oh yeah, but like I remember, of course, he was like really, really popular. I mean, as soon as I believe it was like Enter the Dragon that came out, and that's when everybody started wanted to see more of these movies.
Well, you got to think, Chuck Norris.
Oh, that too. I think Chuck Norris was in Way of the Dragon.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there was, I guess, the whole entire like, of course, most of the movie was like awkward when I watched it. It was mostly like off-ball comedy, but with Bruce Lee.
Very off-ball comedy. Yeah. Like the kid in the airport and him eating a lot of soup for some reason. It was very, very weird movies.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, like at the airport, he was asking for, I think it was eggs or whatever, but like you said, it was a soup. Yeah.
And he like pointed at like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Picked all the soups, and they brought him like 7 bowls, and that was the scene. It's kind of like Buster Keaton-esque, if you think about it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because we mentioned about Jackie Chan, but I believe. Yeah, there was like a cameo, I believe, in Enter the Dragon where you see Jackie Chan, but briefly.
Yeah, and if you look at, I think it was all in Enter the Dragon or possibly Game of Death, Sammo Hung is fighting him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Try and find a picture and then send it to you, but yeah.
Yeah, you could probably go to like the bottom half of the screen. It goes to share. And then you could probably, share the screen with us, and I could show it for,
Nice, yeah.
But what's interesting though, I think that after like the untimely death of Bruce Lee, like everybody just wanted to just imitate them, and they had like the same sort of sounding names too.
Right, exactly. All right, so this is a GIF, so I'm gonna try and share that. I don't know if that'll play out well. So
Okay.
yeah, share screen. Screen share two monitors. Blah blah blah. Share screen. Ooh, sorry. First time doing this. Boomer moment. Excuse me.
That's okay, but it's like, yeah, just click on share and then you'll see like share screen, and then you'll get it on the screen for me. Yeah.
Right. No, that's not it.
Let's see the comments. Good morning. Oh, good morning.
Good morning. Well, I figured this shit out.
Just wanted to say hi. Hey man, how you doing? Okay, first. Okay. Awesome, man. Awesome. Crazy. Yeah, you must be living in Europe or something. Wow. In the morning.
Okay. Let's see. I can't figure this out. I'll just do entire screen for the moment.
Yeah, this is the entire stream. Okay. All right, I'll share it right here. Okay.
So I don't know if you can see it here on the left.
It's so incredibly small.
Hang on. Let's pull it up. How's that? Is that better?
Okay, I can see it now.
So that on the left there, that's Sammo Hung.
Wow.
Bruce Lee.
That's crazy. I did not know it was him until you
Yeah.
mentioned it.
Yeah, it was a short bit. It was a short cameo. But yeah, I mean, they all owe their success and their careers to him. So
Exactly. But yeah, everybody wanted to just replicate Bruce Lee because he was so popular after his like untimely death.
yep.
And it was like so many of these movies that were like super bad. Like so bad. Because they had like the same sort of name and wanted to do the same sort of everything that was cool about Bruce Lee.
There was a severe lack of originality at that time with the titling and the plot. It was all pretty much generic. But I think the person who broke that mold is Jackie, for sure.
It's kind of funny because I believe prior to like, you know, him finding success, Jackie Chan did like a Bruce Lee knockoff himself. It was
When he started, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was like a New Fist of Fury.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But it was when he did his Drunken Master, the first one. That's when he kind of like it was a paradigm shift in how fight scenes were being made at the time. He made them more realistic looking by injecting the comedy, so it was like more slapstick. And
true.
Yeah.
I still think that Drunken Master is probably one of his best works, actually.
Oh, absolutely. 1 and 2. I mean, 2 is just a masterpiece of comedy and everything. It's perfect. It's a perfect movie.
Oh yeah, like I could definitely see the inspiration for Akira Toriyama for Drunken Master. I could definitely see it.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Where are you on the Yuan Wu Ping boat? Are you all for it, or are you familiar with it or not?
Unfortunately, I'm not familiar with it right now, so I can't answer.
Oh, okay. Let me ask you this then. Ever watched The Matrix?
Yes.
Okay. Yuan Wu Ping was the fight choreographer for The Matrix.
Okay.
So now, but Yuan Wu Ping also has a prolific, and I do mean prolific, career back in Hong Kong, working with the likes of Jet Li, Yuan Biao, Sammo Hung, just fantastic movies. I don't know if you've ever watched Iron Monkey. I mentioned that to you in the DMs earlier.
Iron Monkey. Have I seen
that? Has actually Donnie Yen, a very young Donnie Yen.
I think I've seen it a long time ago, but I forgot about it.
Yep, and a girl who's playing Wong Fei Hong as a child.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was like absolutely amazing. And then when I saw it for the first time, you know how they have the scene in the Matrix where Morpheus and Neo are in the dojo and they're fighting and he's training him?
Yes.
And Neo does like a 3 kick jump in the air, and he like kicks him 3 times.
Yes.
They did it better on Iron Monkey.
Huh.
I do mean better.
Okay. Well, I guess
Recommendation of the week, boys and girls.
Okay, so maybe after like this live stream, I'm gonna make sure to see Iron Monkey then.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll send you. A
But like, I think you mentioned to me like the entire movie's on YouTube, right?
Yes, if I'm not mistaken, it's a Tarantino relicensing deal that they did. I don't know how they have it up there without it being taken down.
Yeah.
It's apparently a Quentin Tarantino remaster. Apparently, he's a big fan of the movie. He's done a bunch of remastering for martial arts movies. It's weird. I didn't know why, but I guess after Kill Bill, you could get it.
I mean, after you watch like these old movies and after you watch Kill Bill, you could definitely see where he gets his inspirations.
Yep.
Like a lot of it, like it's kind of, it'll probably take like a whole freaking day just to discuss all these sort of things he did for Kill Bill that were inspired from old movies.
Well, you had several influencers in the movie. You had Sonny Chiba. I mean, come on, that's Japanese territory.
And then you also got like Gordon Liu.
Exactly, Gordon Liu, 36 Chambers of Shaolin, legend, absolute legend in the game, and completely obscured from Hollywood for some reason until Kill Bill.
And also like the whole entire like, you know, that Iron Slice theme was like, you know, also in the movie. It first was like, yeah, in King Boxer, and then before that Iron Slide. And then the Yellow Jacket is like a reference to Bruce Lee, and
yeah,
of course
a lot of homages. Yeah,
like it's so packed of these sort of, you know, tributes to these older movies. Once you start to actually research everything.
Yep. And what I liked about like just the aesthetic. Okay, like when she goes to train with Pak Mei, with the white eyebrow dude, which is also Gordon Liu. That's the way that it's shot and edited and directed. So reminiscent of those old movies that you had from the like late 60s, early 70s. You know, all the guys with the historical pieces and the hairdos and the this and the that. It was beautifully like, mwah. It was beautifully done.
Oh yeah, it's like, you know, one of my favorite parts of part 2. Actually, I think it's probably the strongest part of part 2. But I still want to see like the whole entire, what was it, like the Bloody Affair cut of the movie, where part 1 and part 2 are together. And also, I believe, for part 1, it was censored, I believe, for like that whole entire fight sequence towards the end. It was entirely in black and white, but like the uncut Japanese one was in color.
I did not know that.
Yeah, like if you go onto YouTube and search for the fight sequence in color, it's in color. But when you compare that to the American cut, it's like in black and white.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah. Let's see. The old master that taught the protagonist the eye gore technique and the heart explode technique. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah, like his character is not like new for that movie either. I remember seeing his character in one of those old Saw Brother movies before. It's what was it? The White Locust or whatever. I think that was one of the movies.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's interesting what Redacted Computer said about Pai Mei taking out the eye from one female protagonist and from the other. That's interesting, and I don't think people know this enough. That Pai Mei, it's a style, a martial arts style, called white eyebrow. That's what Pai Mei means, and B, that it's a character that's recurring from other movies.
Oh yes, yeah. But like, so for that martial art style for Pai Mei, like, do you know if they actually train people to gorge people's eyeballs?
You know, I don't know if you know this, but I used to live in China for about 5 years.
Oh, so okay.
When I moved to China, it was first to learn the language, but I thought I would see a lot more martial arts representation, if we're going to use buzzwords. A lot less than I thought. I would see, not that I expected people flying around in the streets, you know, swords and still, more Tai Chi classes in the open, and stuff like that. Nothing. Zip. Nada. It was very disappointing and very disillusioning. So, I mean, make of that what you will. But in
Okay.
terms of Pai Mei and the martial arts and what's actually happening, I don't know if you saw this on YouTube. There's a lot of like debunkers for martial arts,
Mm-hmm.
and kung fu, Chinese kung fu is not being treated very gently, I would say, by everybody else, because a lot of the masters that taught you how to actually fight got killed in the Cultural Revolution.
Mm.
They got put up against the wall and shot, probably amongst the first, right after the academia.
Wow.
So most of what you have nowadays is wushu, which is what Jet Li used to do, which is competition style martial arts. But all the applicable martial art, like actual like MMA, UFC style, jujitsu, something that can actually service you in real life, that's gone. Even I would say even Bruce Lee's martial arts, Jeet Kune Do, has got watered down and really doesn't help you if you want to fight, like really fight. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's all very fine and dandy on the screen, but if you want to defend yourself, I would say go study jujitsu and some boxing. I wouldn't fuck with a boxer.
Okay, true. That's kind of interesting. Like you said, you went to China to study Chinese. Like, like how hard is it to study Chinese?
Well, English is not my first language. It's Hebrew. I was
Okay,
born in Israel, so
right.
I guess languages come easier to me because I'm already bilingual. And in Hebrew is a very different, very difficult language than English. So I guess I kind of had an edge there. I know for native English speakers, it's really difficult because Chinese as a language grammatically is very different. You put tenses and verbs in different places than you would in English. You form sentences differently than you would in English. So you have to wire your brain a little bit differently. You know what
And
I mean?
also like the characters too.
Well, that's a different aspect. I'm
Yeah.
just talking about speaking the language. It's difficult enough to speak it. Reading it, I'm not very good at it, I will admit. I can speak the language fair enough. I can get more than by, But there are others who are far better than I am. I will say that right now.
Oh yeah, because like I heard that for Chinese they have like different tones for you to pronounce the word. So so basically, if you want to pronounce the word, you have to say it at the exact tone. Otherwise, people cannot understand it.
Well, they can understand it, but they'll understand it wrong.
Yeah.
They'll be like, "Why are you telling me that my horse needs a new bra?" When you wanted to tell them that your mother just bought a new bra. Because in Chinese, the words from mother and horse sound almost exactly the same. So
Wow, crazy.
There's whole entire poems in Chinese that are all one word for us English speakers, but in reality, it's all kinds of different words. They're just pronounced differently. So you'll have mama, 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 for example, and it's just all different words.
Wow, crazy. Yeah, I cannot imagine having to learn anything like that. Like, it was too hard. Too hard.
It's very difficult, which is why, getting back on topic, dubs. Where do you stand on dubs? I want to know.
Okay, so for dubs, as a general principle, I like to watch movies or TV shows in the original language as much as I can.
Okay.
So I would just watch them with the subtitles.
Okay.
And I think for the case in this topic for the martial art movies, I think that the dubs that were done, at least in the 70s and the 80s, were hilarious.
Yep.
Hilarious.
Hilarious.
But
absolutely.
But I guess in terms of animation, anime or something, maybe it could work better for dubs.
Mm-hmm.
But for live action, it does not work at all because it's that the mouth flaps are different than what they actually are saying. So
absolutely.
Yes, sir.
But I do think there was one company that actually did a very good job with the dubs. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a humming sound again.
Sorry, how's that?
Better.
Okay, so Golden Harvest. they have some of the best dubbings out there. You know, particularly if you look at Drunken Master 2. A lot of the Jet Li movies that came out during the 90s, like My Father is a Hero, fantastic dubs, good actors, good acting, relatively speaking. But I mean, yeah, sometimes it's just better to watch it in the original. I agree.
Yeah, because I guess the only kind of exception if I were to watch a martial art movie with a dub on is maybe like the Jackie Chan movies because he actually dubs himself.
Yes, exactly. He's one of
So
the few. And Donnie Yen, who's actually American, so you know he speaks fluent English, so he does a lot of his own dubs too.
yeah, that's the only kind of way I could possibly watch a dub martial art movie is to just have the original actors do it. So
Yeah,
it'll be less awkward.
I mean, Drunken Master 2, they got some of the lip flappings down to like it looks so convincingly English, even though you know they're not speaking English, and that's just good acting. You know.
Yeah. Right, because like a lot of the thing about the problem with the dubs, like in the 70s and the 80s, like since they were pumping out like a lot of these movies, that they were also dubbing it in-house in Hong Kong. And what they had to do was they just sometimes get locals off the streets and just get in the recording booth and it sounds terrible, but they still kept it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why the especially with anime, you see that a lot. You get a lot better quality dubbing nowadays than you did, like you said, in the 60s and 70s. It's just incomparable.
Absolutely, because like but nowadays I'm still kind of contemplating should I still support the dubbing industry for like anime because like a lot of the hot takes that's been going on from the actors have been crazy. So
what you mean like Vic Mignogna?
Yeah, that controversy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know, I agree, and that's why I canceled my Toonami or Crunchyroll subscription a long time ago.
Yeah, like they produce good dub, but like they have too much drama to actually want me to support the actors.
I just want to watch the damn shows, man. I don't give a shit about your drama.
Exactly.
You know, that's like the whole thing that I like really irks me, and that's why I probably stopped doing content. It's just enough already. You people are just so petty.
Yeah, it's like sometimes for me, like for videos, like I guess it just comes naturally because I could just look at whatever and just record whatever and just do it on the spot. And usually I don't have any script, and so it's actually easy for me to not run out of content because I just constantly see like this bombardment of this crazy stupid stuff.
I agree. All right, look. I mean, you can call yourself the Bruce Lee of YouTube. You're adapting. Be like water, like Redacted Computer says in the chat. I am too rigid for that shit, man. I'm too old. You know what I mean?
All right. I love China, but I hate communism. I agree, actually. Yeah, because like I enjoy like a lot of the Chinese culture. Matter of fact, just earlier today, I just ate Chinese food. I'm not even joking. But anyway, yeah, I do like a lot of aspect of like the Chinese culture, but yeah, it's kind of I feel mixed about the communist stuff. So
yeah, Tim Madone says a film purist would only want to hear a movie in its original language, but I prefer a good dub since I don't like reading subtitles. Of course, a good dub is not always what we get. I mean, look, I grew up reading subtitles because again, my native language is Hebrew, so whenever we get movies from Hollywood, we always have Hebrew subtitles. So I'm okay with that. I can split my brain that way.
yeah, like the thing about like movies here is that when they premiere from other countries, we don't have subtitles. Like I said earlier, it's like it's just dubbed over and then it's just sold that way. But nowadays, since we have Netflix and every other streaming services, they're now available with the subtitles too. So. Yeah, because mostly like a lot of people here don't necessarily like to read subtitles. They just go to the movie. Like if it's just English, then they'll just see it, and if it's not English, then they won't see it.
Yeah, which is a shame. Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Right. It does impact the industry as well. I mean, the I don't know if you saw. I think there was a video a couple weeks ago about everything wrong with like Funimation and Toonami and Crunchyroll They pay their translators like dirt poor salaries to translate stuff on the spot for new content coming out of Japan, and I mean dirt fucking poor.
Yeah, I heard about that before. I
They-
think somewhere else, but not that video though.
Yeah, the going rate in Japan for a good translator who can turn over a project in a day is between 450 or 350 and $450.
Wow, that's low.
Toonami pays 80.
What?
Yeah,
Whew.
yeah. So let that sink in. And 80 flat, like not if you like do overtime, it's per video, not word count, nothing.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's the
Wow.
industry.
You know, I would think because like these shows are like high in demand, like of course all that man hour to just, look at the footage, then, write this transcription and everything would probably be more than just $80. Jeez.
Well, you have to look at the footage, and you sometimes have to do research because a lot of the stuff is the cultural references. Good of a translator as you may be, and I've done translation work from Chinese to English. If you don't know the lingo, if you don't know the idioms or the catchphrases, when you speak English and you say something like, "Oh, it's in the ballpark," you get it. It's like a cultural thing. It clicks. They have the same thing back there too, and if you don't know that, you get dubs that do like the whole Gamergate mentions, and you have are you a cuck, are you an incel in the middle of an anime, like what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, that's not even the realm of translation. That's just localization.
Yeah.
Like it's entirely possible to make a fully accurate dub, but I guess people just want to change stuff just to
Well,
do
they
it.
change stuff because, well, no. My theory is that it's a little more dirty than that. I think that they're lazy because a lot of these guys. No offense, I don't know how old you are, but a lot
I'm
of
28.
okay, yeah, not people in your age bracket, then people who are a little bit younger than you tend to be lazier when it comes to stuff like that. They'll learn the language, but like I said, won't invest the time in researching, the idioms and the culture aspect of it, and they'll just invent shit to fill it up instead of actually doing the work.
True, because like for just the idioms alone, like you just you need to necessarily like nowadays it's easier because like you have the internet, you could just talk to tutors, talk to the natives, and then you could probably get the idioms that way or the dictionary or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it says, like sometimes you have to put the extra legwork to understand the idioms. And also like sometimes when I make like, I guess my Spanish video, sometimes it takes like a long time, like a whole day to just subtitle like everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also did like some videos for like other YouTubers too, like from Spain. And it like takes a good minute to just transcribe everything for those videos. So it's like only $80 for that. Sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, but that them's the rates. I mean, unless they unionize or something, which they probably won't.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as like, I guess the big boss, like there was this one moment I remember quite clearly, and I said it before, but like the whole entire part with the saw was actually censored because reasons. Because I remember hearing like these sort of stories that people saw the movie when it first came out, and then apparently they had the uncut version of that fight scene, but the version that we have right now has been cut.
Well, there could be a number of reasons for that, but the prevailing theory for the Saw scene, and I know the one you're talking about, is that the guy that Bruce Lee is fighting with on film is actually Triad, and I keep going back to that he was not actually supposed to be in the film, and he kind of like forced himself into the production, and there was a dispute on set, and cameras were rolling. And that's what happened. That's why it's such a very rough kind of like take. And they had to re-edit it and reshoot some things after they saw it in rushes. But that's one prevailing theory. The other theory of why it's censored is that the Chinese have been censoring a lot of these movies for violence, for gore.
Oh yeah.
You know, a lot of
Oh
the stuff that
yeah.
you see nowadays. I remember seeing Jet Li movies from the mid '90s get censored for gore on Chinese DVDs that I used to get in China. Like they would cut out all the gory scenes. So, have you seen Fist of Legend?
Fist of Blood. Yes.
Okay, so the very last scene where he slashes his throat, with the
Mm.
katana, and they edited it out, they like zoomed in on his face, so you don't actually see the sword like sliding across his throat like you see in the original cut.
Hmm.
So that's one of the problems that we have right now with the Chinese film industry, is that they self-censor more.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Oh, look at that. We have Drunkle in the chat.
okay. Hey, what's up, drunken uncle? What's up? Yeah, it's kind of interesting too because as far as the violence is concerned, I say like the earlier movies is like much more violent in comparison to what we see nowadays. Today's the fights are like much more cleaner, and the ones in the past have much more blood, much more gore. If you were to compare it together.
Yeah, I mean, probably the last great violent martial arts movie that I've seen is Donnie Yen. It's Ip Man and Dragon Gate.
Hmm.
Two very violent movies if you think about it, really. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's become a lot more sterile nowadays and more predictable. It's not as visceral, like you said, like a Bruce Lee in a Big Boss kind of scene.
Exactly. So, as far as like the whole entire modern day movie is concerned, I guess there is one star that I actually like the most so far, and it's not even from like China. It's like
I
Tony
know I know
Jaa.
the name. Yeah, I know the name you were gonna say. I knew it.
Yeah, because I love like that movie called The Protector. There
Yeah.
was this one scene where he just fights a bunch of dudes in one single take. I love that whole entire fight scene.
Yep. That probably took them about 50 or 60 takes to do as well.
Yeah, I saw the behind the scenes for that. It was like crazy how many takes they did for that part.
Yeah. One shots are a rarity, and Tony Jaa is probably amongst the best to do so. Just unbelievable. And like Donnie Yen, he hits hard. His stunt guys get paid very well. I mean, very well for all the hits that they're getting.
Oh man. Yeah,
And
like some of the stuff, like when I watch these movies, I'm kind of wonder, like, how could like these stuntmen just handle all these sort of crazy punches from these
well,
people?
check out Corridor Crew. So they do a lot of normie content, but they sometimes have people from the industry come in, like stunt doubles, and they review fight scenes, and they can point out how it's done to an extent. You use padding, or you use wires, or you use this or that. So, but in the Protector, I think there was very little wire work, maybe just to enhance a couple of moves, but everything else is Tony. I mean, the guy is an absolute beast.
Yeah, and also what impressed me for that scene
Yeah,
was like he was going up the stairs, and I believe one of the stuntmen just fell through that what was it?
he was
Some
falling to the boxes, and then
Yeah, the
he
boxes.
overshot. Yeah,
Yeah,
he overshot it.
yeah, that was
But, well,
crazy.
that's interestingly enough, that Corridor Crew YouTube channel that I was telling you about, they reviewed that scene, and apparently that was the last take that they did because they were just so tired. And even Tony Jaa, towards the end, because he's climbing up, towards the end, you can just tell he's telegraphing some of those punches and some of those kicks. He's exhausted. I mean, the guy, and he sells it. Don't get me wrong, he sells it great, but he by that point was just spent.
Yeah, like 15 times for a single take shot is exhausting. Not just for him, but also the cameraman, because I remember reading that for that whole entire sequence they used like the steady cam, so that must have been heavy too for the cameraman.
I'll give you something else to twist your brain a little bit. The
Yeah.
guy that falls down, he hits a little pavilion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever worked in the film industry?
No, outside of my amateur film work and YouTube, no.
Okay, so there's a concept called breakaways. Okay, they're very, very cheaply made furniture or a set piece that's designed to be destroyed easily.
Right.
they had to rebuild that pavilion 15 times because the guy landed on it 15 times. You know, that's how accurate. That's how accurate these guys are.
I mean, goddamn, 15 times of falling down.
Like I said, Tony Jaa guys and to some extent the Donnie Yen guys, they get paid very well. There's a rumor going around that Donnie Yen is like, if you let me hit you really hard, you're gonna get some, a bonus at the end of the day. That kind of vibe. And they're like, sure, man, give me another $500 and then smack me across the mouth. I'll take it.
I remember hearing about him actually disappearing for a long time to hide somewhere else to become some sort of, what was it, a Buddhist, whatever? I can't remember correctly.
To do what?
To become like a Buddhist or whatever, or what? I can't remember.
That's Jet Li. Jet
Li
converted to Lama Buddhism, which is a sect of Buddhism.
Okay.
It's based in Tibet.
All right.
Become very spiritual, and I think you see it in a lot of his movies, actually. Like, was it Hero or Fearless? Fearless. Very spiritual, very like tree hugging, granola kind of stuff. That's really weird with kung fu.
Let's see. I remember how much was cut from Shogun Assassin when it premiered on local TV. It was crazy. You know what's funny about that cut for that movie is that it's actually a cut of other movies. It was like a combination between like the Lone Wolf and Cub 1 and 2. Yeah.
Ooh, you're going way back here. Okay.
Yeah. We were talking about Tony Jaa and I were talking about like freaking Lone Wolf and Cub.
Yeah. I mean, these guys are the OGs of the industry, and there's no denying them. So.
Oh yeah, it's like a super great series too. I think of course the Japanese version of these movies are way better than what we got for Shogun Assassin. But it was like a good, introduction for many people to see the classic ones too.
And speaking of Japanese films, I love some good samurai movies. I mean, Yojimbo, fantastic. So a Western in Japan, unbelievable.
And there was also like I seen Yojimbo. I also seen Seven Samurai. That was another
Samurai. Yep.
It's a classic. There's also like Zatoichi. I've seen those.
Yep.
And
then the newer one or the older ones?
I have like a Blu-ray collection of all the old ones.
Oh, very nice, my man. I love that.
Yeah. It's like it came out back in 2012 by the Criterion Collection.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the Criterion stuff is really good. Really, really good.
Oh yeah, and I also got their like Blu-ray release for Godzilla too. So it was like all the releases so far has been super nice, but I'm kind of contemplating like what is the better label, them or like Arrow Video, because I've been buying like a lot of Arrow Video stuff lately, and so like they go all out with their releases too.
Really?
Yes, because Arrow Video more recently released the Gamera movies. And it's like a humongous box set. I reviewed it on my channel, so if you want to see what it looks like, you can see one of my videos.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like what, remasters of the older ones?
Yes, and the new ones. And it has like a lot of audio commentary, like behind the scene footage and trailers, and like at least 2 different booklets. Like one of the booklets is like a comic book collection. And the other one's like a collection of essays for like these various experts for the movies. So.
Okay, hang on a second. Tim Adone asked a question. Seem to know about a lot of martial arts movie. Do you know if there's an uncut version of Lucky 7 and 36 Super Kids of Shaolin Temple? Ooh. I
don't think... Let me check 1 second.
That's a damn good question. I'm not sure.
Let me check on Amazon.
Yeah. Lucky 7, is that the lucky numbers go places or something like that? It's the Jackie Chan series. If that's what you're talking about, I don't know. 36 Super Kids of Shaolin Temple. It might be. There we go.
Let's see. 36. Yeah. 36
Lucky 7.
is.
Are you sure that it's Lucky 7?
Yeah, I cannot. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't find Lucky 7 at all. So. Yeah. So I don't think they're on Blu-ray or DVD right now,
Yeah,
but
they might not be.
yeah, but don't take my word for it. Look for yourself because I'm not
Yeah.
sure myself.
Yeah, I would, if I were you, I would probably check Criterion, because Criterion is pretty much the gold standard in these things. Maybe Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang did a bunch of remasters, and they usually go with the more esoteric kind of stuff. Although not always. Wu-Tang does have very good taste. RZA, man, whew, the guy knows his stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, but getting back to the Japanese samurai movies, like we mentioned, of course, like Lone Wolf and Cub, the Seven Samurai, Yojimbo.
Well, those are all the Akira Kurosawa ones,
Yeah,
Ran, stuff like that.
exactly.
Yeah, he's pretty much the gold standard as well.
There was this one movie I seen. It was called Harikari, if I'm not mistaken.
Oof. Oof.
It's like in the 60s. It's in black and white.
I remember seeing a Japanese rendition of One Armed Swordsman, and I only saw it once, and I was never able to see it again.
Wait. A Japanese. Wait a second. I remember. Like, there was this movie in the Zataichi series where it's like Zataichi versus the one-armed swordsman.
That probably was it.
Yeah, because they did like a crossover between the two characters in that movie.
That probably was it. But they made it very similar to the Chinese, the One Armed Swordsman movie, which I think was 1972 or something like that.
Yeah, like the Zataichi versus the one-armed swordsman came out around the same year.
Yeah. I mean, bloody gore, fantastic. Excellent stuff.
Yeah, but as far as the samurai movie stuff, like I said, I've seen like a lot of Akira Kurosawa stuff. I've seen like, Lone Wolf and Cub, Zataichi. Probably some more, but I can't really think of any more right now.
There's a lot of Takeshi Kitano stuff that doesn't have martial arts in it that I like. The stuff that he did, like Battle Royale, I thought was fucking fantastic. It was so funny to see him in that role. God.
There's like this box that I just recently bought for Battle Royale. And I also have a video about that on my channel. So, like the second movie pales in comparison to the first movie, obviously.
You know what? I haven't seen the second one, and I probably wouldn't. They got lightning in a bottle, and you just can't reproduce that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but like there was like moments where I actually was on my toes watching the first movie, a lot actually.
Yeah,
it was probably like the most controversial movie that came out, I think, in the 2000s. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And you know what? I think we need to revisit that concept right now.
I thought they already did it with like the Hunger Games.
Lucky 7 is about a group of kids and adults trying to get a hold of a rare diamond. I think he's talking about Legend of the Jade Statue or something like that, or Legend of the Jade Stone. Lucky 7 might be a translation error. I think I know the one he's talking about. But I don't know whether or not it has a Blu-ray. I think it's a little too old.
Right.
And not as well known. There's not a whole lot of star power in that movie. If that's the same movie that we're talking about here, it doesn't have like a Yuan Biao or a Jet Li. It's a very old movie, like post Bruce Lee era, early 80s, I would say.
Let's see. Kimba the White Lion was swapped by Disney to make the Lion King. Yeah, I already know that.
Yeah, we know. No. We heard.
Let's see. Yojimbo the Gerbil. What?
I have no idea.
No. It's like red. Let's see. Basically, Yojimbo is like, this 1960 movie from Kurosawa, and he goes into town.
I lost your audio.
Oh, you did?
Hang on, I can't hear you.
Oh no.
Oh, that's okay. I got it. Sorry, you were saying?
Okay, so I was just explaining to Red Active Computer that Jimbo is just about a guy going to town and tricking everybody to fighting each other.
Yeah. The word Yojimbo is actually bodyguard, so it's technically the bodyguard.
Not a gerbil.
Yeah, not a gerbil.
But like, it's funny because his movies actually inspire westerns to come from them. Like the most famous examples, like the Magnificent Seven from Seven Samurai, and then
Good, bad, and the
from
ugly for you.
yeah, and then from Yojimbo to like like a doll, like one of those Clint Eastwood movies. I forgot the name. It was like for a few, not like a for a few dollars, I think, or whatever.
For a handful of dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's. I mean, we're venturing into stuff that's a little less my territory. I'm not a big Western guy.
Okay.
He's not a con man computer. He's actually a samurai that's looking for a payday, but he does con them.
Yeah. So if you've seen like the earlier Clint Eastwood movies, his character is based upon Yojimbo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's basically like a lone soldier or lone wolf kind of thing.
True. So let's see. So what is your favorite ones, like your top 10 movies or top 5?
Wow. That's an interesting question. Well, I mean, it depends. I think, and I've mentioned his name a couple of times, but I think Yuan Biao is a very underrated star, very underrated actor.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to include one of the movies that he's in. So I would say Meals on Wheels, which is Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, and Yuan Biao. All three of them together in a movie. It's just fireworks. No More Mr. Nice Guy, Jackie Chan.
Mm-hmm.
Once Upon a Time in China. And I'm going to include all of them with the exception of the ones with the actors that were not Jet Li, because they were okay, but not great. Enter the Dragon is up there. And I'll pick one last one. I would say probably Drunken Master 2.
Okay. All right. So my list so far that I got, it comes from different like periods, I guess, but maybe predominantly from the past. But to start with, like my 5 favorite ones so far, I would probably say, Five Fingers to Death for King Boxer, and then of course I would say like the 36 Chambers of Shaolin.
Absolutely.
And then also Drunken Master is like another good one I like, so that one too. So that leaves 2 more. I would say like I would probably say Fist of Fury for Bruce Lee.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, because like that was like, I mean, granted, like, the big boss was actually pretty dark, but I think that was like his darkest actually for Fist of Fury. And then finally, I guess The Protector, sure.
Okay, that's fair. But interesting that you mentioned Fist of Fury. That's another really, really good Bruce Lee movie. I think probably his most complete movie in terms of a story. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah, mostly because maybe it's just me, but like, of course, when I watch these sort of martial art movies, I watch it for the action. But sometimes, like, the endings are just so abrupt. Like, there's no sort of conclusion. But, like,
Yeah.
Sure.
Go ahead.
No, you go first.
Well, it's an interesting way that they make movies there in the East. So we have a lot of happy endings in the Western cinema. A lot of hope at the end. And they don't always do that. They sometimes will leave the ending ambiguous or make it a sad ending, tragic ending, like the hero wins, but at what cost kind of vibe. And I think that's probably where a lot of people have a disconnect with these movies. Probably why they lack some sort of popularity.
True, like it's not something that I'm saying is a negative as a movie, but like it's just something that I noticed, like towards like for like American movies, like you said, we have like these sort of conclusive endings. Whereas the ones like in China is like, more open-ended.
Yep.
in comparison to what we have. So,
Yeah. It's
but
a philosophical approach.
exactly, like the ending for like Fist of Fury though is like really, really powerful too.
Oh yeah.
Like it doesn't get more powerful than just Bruce Lee just jumping in front of bodyguards and him getting shot towards the end. Man, whew.
Yeah. Yeah. That's grim actually if you think about it.
Oh yeah, it's like one of the most grim endings for any martial art movies ever.
Because you know what happens after the freeze frame.
Oh yeah.
So, but it's a lot. It's more subtle than it is nowadays. You know, like take Ip Man for example. Great, great, great movie. A fantastic movie. Impeccable fighting, impeccable cinematography, great shooting, great acting. The ending. The ending just sequel bait. You know that it's coming. You know that it's gonna be something else along the way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's built for a sequel. And when I see something like that, again, I love that movie. Ip Man is a great movie. The ending just irritated me to no end.
Okay.
You
The
know?
36 Super Kids at Shaolin Temple is about a group of kids hiding at the Shaolin Temple while an evil lord trying to find them. The movie focuses on the hard training they receive while there.
Hmm.
Oh, I've never seen that one.
Yeah, I've never seen that one either.
Let me try to write it down. Hold on, I'm gonna write that title.
I got it. I won't share the screen, but hang on. So let's see. HK Cinemagic. Let's see who's in this. Ooh, that's old. That's very old. Doesn't even have 82. Whew.
Wow.
See that's like the cusp of where Jackie Chan started breaking out big with his more contemporary style, less history pieces and more like in the now, like Mr. Nice Guy and Meals on Wheels, like I said earlier.
It's kind of funny because, like, the 70s, of course, because he had no budget, is like, down to earth. Whereas his later works is like, giant extravaganzas.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at Rumble in the Bronx. I mean, holy shit. He had cars lined up to be driven over by motorcycles. You can't do that unless you have a budget. There's no CGI there. That was one take.
Really? That was one take?
Well, I'm pretty sure that they had a couple of reshoots just for like a couple of cutaways. But yeah, I mean, it's insane.
It was also really insane for, like, Jackie Chan. Like, he does all of his stunts without any sort of stuntman.
Yep.
Well, so what you see on screen is what you get.
Yeah, it does, and it's the man has paid the fucking toll. Holy shit!
There is this one part in Project A. He went on a clock tire and then he just falls all the way down. And you get to see everything too. It's so crazy.
Yeah, that was in the mall where he jumps down like a pole that had lights on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and did you see what happened in the aftermath in the gag reel, or do you guys get them censored here?
The gag reel. I don't think I've seen that in the gag
Yeah,
reel. But what happened?
He got taken to the hospital because his hands were burnt because he was sliding down that pole with electrical wires and lights going off,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he was burnt pretty bad
Oof.
on that fall. Yeah, probably a concussion and a couple of broken ribs as well.
Yeah, like depending on the cut you get, like sometimes they have the gag wheel, sometimes they don't. But I don't remember seeing that in the gag wheel.
Yeah, I'll try and find it and send it to you after the stream. It's pretty gruesome. But yeah, I mean, there's a guy who really paid the ultimate price for his craft. You know.
Hell, like the whole opening for Police Story was like it inspired like one of the sequences for Bad Boys 2.
Yeah, exactly. And that was not done with one cutaways or one shot. Sorry. You know, it's insane what he did, and like you said, with very little budget, also very little insurance. That's why he started his own stunt company. the Jackie Chan stuntman group. Great people that came out of that. They're in projects all over the world. You know,
Oh yes, but man, like, phew. Like I don't think it would be anybody like Jackie Chan after he passes away. Like I don't think no one would probably do as many dangerous stunts like
I
that.
don't know, man. Tony Jaa is getting up there. He's becoming more experimental. He's experimenting with his environment more, which is what Jackie likes to do. The difference between Tony Jaa and Jackie Chan, though, is that Jackie Chan comes from the Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton kind of like way of choreographing the fight. There's always emotion, and it's always very slapsticky, even in his more serious fights. Tony Jaa just beats the crap out of you, man. It's like, it'll be quick, it'll be brutal, and it'll be very painful to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie famously said that Bruce Lee punches a wall, walks away. I punch a wall, I go ah.
See, does Police Story have the hard-boiled detective with jazz music playing in the back? No. That's a
No,
different.
no.
No, that's a different movie.
Police Story is part of a series. Go ahead, Tyler. Do the honors.
Yeah. So Police Story is a different series than Hard Boiled because Hard Boiled was like made in 1992, and Police Story was like in the 80s. They're completely different movies.
Yep.
Like one has gunfights, the other one. I mean, I guess some gunfights, but mostly martial arts.
Yeah. The thing about Police Story is that it's become a series. I think there's
Yeah.
3 of them, right? There's Police Story 1 and 2, and then there's a third one, and it's a whole series of movies with the same character. Basically he moves from like he's always Jackie. He's always called Jackie.
Yeah, and also it's kind of funny because like the most famous entry so far is Super Cop, I think, and at least in the States. Yeah.
Yes. Michelle Yeoh. I mean, gotta talk about Michelle Yeoh, right? She's the female Jackie Chan. I mean, holy shit.
True. But as far as my favorite one of the series for Police Story, yeah, I'd probably say Super Cop, followed by the first one.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely agreed.
But there is this one moment in like part 2 of Police Story where he fights against this sort of disabled person. It is like something that I cannot imagine being
the
filmed
guy
today.
With the false arm, right?
No. It's like I think he was with glasses and has some sort of sound that he makes.
Oh! I know the one you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot imagine that being filmed today.
Dude, there's a lot of stuff that he did back in the 80s that wouldn't be filmed today just because of the liability. I mean, the guy, it wasn't the opening for Super Cop when he goes down the hillside, right? And then goes to like the favela or whatever it was, and basically stops in front of a truck.
Let's see, what the heck was the name of that Chinese action flick that had a Japanese female that was called, I think it was Lucky Stars.
Yes, it was Lucky Stars.
It's Lucky Stars.
Yeah, Lucky Stars Go Places, I think, was the first one. And that's a whole other league of cinema from China because it's not strictly a martial arts movie. Martial arts is a secondary aspect of that movie. It's all about the comedy.
Yeah, it has like the 3 brothers together, like Jackie and then Samo and the other guy. I forgot the other guy's name.
You have Jackie, Samo, and Yuan Biao.
Yeah,
they're the lucky number 7.
Ironically enough, you mentioned, of course, like Meals on Wheels. They also star in that movie too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they did a lot of movies together that people just need to know more about, in my opinion. And Meals on Wheels is probably the first one that I saw of the bunch. And if I'm not mistaken, it had Benny the Jet or Kitas in that one.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
Unbelievably amazing, underrated martial artists on film. I mean, the guy was just, wow.
Let's see. I remember another movie that had Jackie Chan and he fought in a steel mill or something. What was the name of that movie?
That was Drunken Master 2.
Yeah.
That's the famous steel mill fight. That has actually 3 acts to it. I mean, it's insane.
Sure, but as far as like the worst ones you've seen, what are the worst ones you think they are for martial arts?
I mean, there are stinkers there. Don't get me wrong. I'm probably gonna shock some people who would probably listen to this later, and probably you as well. But I don't like all the ninja movies that came out in the '70s.
Like Chinese Super Ninja or whatever.
No, I'm thinking like Five Style Ninja or Five Color Ninjas.
Okay.
Okay, like I get it. Like I understand where you're coming from. It never really vibed for me. You know, not necessarily calling it the worst, but you have a lot of hokey Chinese stuff. The Dreadnought, which actually has Sammo Hung in it, which saves the movie in my opinion. But it has the guy who acted as Wong Fei Hong in like 100 movies since he was in his 20s up until he was dead, basically. I think his name was Tatman Ping or something like that. Basically, by that time, by this point in the movie, he's old. So all of his fight scenes where he's shot from the back is a stunt double, and you can see it, and it's painfully obvious because this guy is like I said, is in his 70s, so he can't do backflips. He can't do like sweep kicks, from the prone position or anything like that. And yet, with the stunt double, it was magically accomplished, and it was just really obvious. Like it was glaring, which is a shame again because Dreadnought is a very good movie, and Sammo Hung, that's probably the movie that made him who he is in Hong Kong. He plays Lam Sai Wing, which is one of Wong Fei Hong's students. The Magnificent Butcher, also same role. I don't know if you saw that one or not.
No, I haven't.
Okay, check that out. Magnificent Butcher. He's very good in that as well. And here's I'd like to add to my list if I may.
Sure.
Prodigal Son. That's Yuan Biao's attempt at becoming a leading man. And you owe it to yourself if you haven't watched it to watch it. The fights are just unbelievable, and it's really, really good. I highly recommend.
Mm-hmm.
Now, give me a recommendation. Give me something that you watched that yours either the worst or highly recommended.
Okay, it's gonna say the worst one so far that I've seen. Whew. That's like hard. I would probably say like the worst ones by far. Probably like Game or Death.
Game of Death. Okay. Yeah. I can understand why. Look, I mean, he died halfway through the production, so they had to replace him with doubles. They had no choice.
True. It is like it's not just terrible, but it's also really insulting to just make a movie like after he died like that, man. Whew.
They should. I mean, look, it exists, so I can't say anything about what they should or shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
But that's what started the whole Bruce exploitation movies, like blaxploitations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are, if I was gonna say a worse martial art movie, then Dreadnought is probably one of those gems. Where you had Bruce Lee and Bruce Liu, and Bruce Lee, and Bruce Lee with an I, and Bruce Lee with a Leigh. I mean, they went all out on the Bruces because he died. There was a void, and they had to fill it. There was a demand for the movies. But man, did they produce some stinkers.
Are you on StreamYard? Yes, I am. See, I only seen Master of the Flying Guillotine from a cut TV print. Is the uncut version really gory?
You know what? It's been a while. I haven't watched Guillotine in a long time, so I'll have to rewatch it again. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, I only seen one of these Guillotine movies, but I don't think it was Master of the Flying Guillotine.
No, I know the one he's talking about. When I hear something that says TV cut print, I'm not exactly sure what that means.
Usually, like the thing about TV cuts, like what it means is that
that they're edited.
Yes, yeah.
No, I get that, but I never got them edited. We always either pirated them back home in Israel, or we got them unedited. So I don't know. That's a good question.
Let's see. Can you send me a link, please? Sure. Check the chat and you can answer.
Yeah, I'm not long for this though, so just FYI.
Okay. All right. But yeah, the worst one so far is like yeah, Game of Death, like I said. But as far as like a movie recommendation that I'll give to you, probably like I'd probably say something like, you probably seen before, so.
Oh no. Go hit me, man. I mean, I'm not a big Tony Jaa guy, so give me a good Tony Jaa movie outside of The Protector, because I've seen The Protector on a
Hey
number
Tyler,
of
how you
times.
doing?
Hey man.
Vince.
First time hearing you.
Hey, can you
Same
just,
here.
Yeah, can you just speak up a little bit? You're a little low.
Low riding?
Yeah, that's better.
Look, you guys can hear me now?
Yep.
Yes, good.
Yes. Well, first time seeing it.
Awesome, man.
I mean, well, I can't be on too long because I gotta get to, I gotta do something. But
No worries.
what you guys talking about?
We're just talking about martial art movies.
Oh, all right.
So, do you have any favorites?
The only thing that I have on my mind is, I'm guessing Kill Bill.
You're coming in a little bit broken up. I can't really make out what you just said.
Guessing.
I think it's the Kill Bill.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, Kill Bill is you would probably can safely say that it's probably the best martial arts movie produced by a Westerner out there.
Yeah, Kill Bill.
Yeah.
But as far as like my recommendation for you, final print, I would say like maybe like have you seen Ong Bak before?
Ong Bak was my first foray into Tony Jaa. I watched Ong Bak, The Protector. It was another one with like a similar to Ong Bak. I think maybe it was Ong Bak 2 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's pretty much it.
All right. And he's going.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he had a bad connection.
Yeah.
That's all right. No worries.
Yeah, true. But anyway,
So which
maybe
Ong Bak movie? Or
it's-
which Tony Jaa movie? Sorry.
it's like what about at least Ong Bak 2, the sequel to that one?
I don't think I've seen that one. I will definitely check it out tonight. Absolutely.
Yeah, this one is like way different than the first one actually. Because it's like takes more place in like the I guess he's from Thailand, so he's like it's like more like jungle atmosphere. It's like in the past, I think. And like the fights are much more grittier.
Yeah.
Like
I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there was this one part where he was just standing on a whole stampede of elephants in one scene.
he's I would definitely call him like the Jackie Chan of his genre. He's very much in a league of his own.
True.
Some of his stunt work is pretty outstanding.
Yeah, so if you compare the first Ong Bak to the second one, it's like so different. Like the fights are so brutal. And the atmosphere is so different.
Yeah, I think what drew me into Ong Bak was the cinematic language that he chose to employ. I think was very effective. Very different from everything you've seen up until now. It's a whole different language, and it was refreshing to see. Actually, the fight choreography was out of this world. Never seen anything like that. Yeah, I think we need to see more people follow his footsteps.
Oof, that's gonna be hard though. Like after Tony Jaa, who else could possibly be like the person that could follow his footsteps?
Yeah, that's a good question. Right now, I don't know who is going to. Like, I don't remember some of the names anymore, especially the younger guys. But the guy that was in Ip Man, the secondary antagonist, the northerner who comes in the beginning of the movie to beat all the masters up. I don't remember his name, but he is fantastic. He's a great actor. Great martial artist. I mean, phenomenal martial artist. The guy is just he sells it so well. Um, he's somebody that I would watch for if he ever gets a lead role. You know, still pretty young, very very good. See if I can find his name.
Now, as far as my favorite Gordon Liu movie, it's
36
hard.
Chambers.
Of
I mean,
course,
come on.
36. Yeah. Yeah,
It's gotta
but
be, right?
of course, but like the 8, what was it, the diagram pole, whatever? I
A
forget.
trigram pole. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
But that was not too shabby either.
Nope. Pretty much any Gordon Liu movie from that era was cookie cutter. It was pretty much all the same plot and the same movie, but Gordon Liu just brings it every single time. I mean,
There is this one movie I've been meaning to see from his that is like really hard to find on like DVD or Blu-ray. Is Dirty Hole. I need to see that one.
which one?
Dirty Hole.
I'm not familiar with that one. Oh,
Yeah, there's one. That's the one that's like really hard to get nowadays because like there's no Blu-ray or DVD at least in the States.
No, that's where you have to pirate, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like doing it, but sometimes you got to, you know.
Yeah, I understand because like there's like some of these dub actors that go on their high horse about the privacy stuff. It's like you say, well, you see, you gotta support the industry and blah 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 blah. I'm sorry, but there is some stuff that's like not available in other places in the world, and the only way to do it is through privacy.
Yeah, I mean, the whole content restriction based on geolocation is fucking stupid. Why wouldn't you want a bigger audience? It doesn't make any sense.
Right. So sometimes I use my VPN to go to these other sites or like certain YouTube videos because they're blocked.
Yep. Yeah. It's you got to do that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would love to not pay for a VPN and actually, go to things and not have it be region locked or whatever.
No, you mean you're not sponsored by NordVPN, Tyler? Come on.
The VPN that I actually use is let me check. Oh my god. It's like oh my god, I forgot the name of it. Whatever. But it works, yeah, it works.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, I got a VPN. I paid VPN back in 2018 when I went to China, just because I didn't want to have restrictions anymore and I didn't want them tracking me anymore.
Right, because of they, I heard that they actually, censor all these major American sites like Facebook and Twitter and whatnot.
They don't censor them; they're blocked.
Blocked. Oh, block. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
And every now and again they'll lift the block, and every now and again they'll block it again. And that's just them testing it. But I've gone off of Facebook when I was living in China. It's just not. No, thank you. Bye. I got it on Facebook while I was in China, and then just done. I was so done with it, and it's getting worse and worse and worse over there as well. So, just to give you an idea, last time I was in China in 2018, they had biometrics at the airport, and I do mean full fingerprints of my right and left hands, and my facial recognition camera picture in their database.
Wow.
Yeah.
Phew.
That's how bad it is. And I don't remember it being that bad when we left, which was back in 2011. It's gotten to that point now.
Okay. What is the name of the movie? Let's see. What's the name of that movie that had a Chinese guy who was doing Tai Chi, was civil rated? That's called 36 Chambers Shaolin.
Shaolin, yeah.
Yeah.
And you have the weighted rings in a bunch of other movies. One of my favorites is Stephen Chow movie, Kung Fu Hustle, where it's not exactly Tai Chi. It's some sort of an external martial art, but there's one of the characters there that has the weighted rings. It's an underused weapon, in my opinion. Yeah.
But yeah, 36 Chambers Shaolin's the name of the movie. React to Computer.
Yeah. There's also great Jet Li movie. I don't know if anyone watches, called Tai Chi Master, also called Twin Warriors. Great movie.
Yeah. So I think we kind of run the course for the conversation. It's been like an hour and now like 30 minutes. But before we end the conversation, just plug in your social media and your channel.
Oh, the finer print over it on Twitter. You know, I really don't do content anymore. So if you just want to hit me up on Twitter, by all means, I'm right here. You know, but yeah, it was a pleasure. You're a real gentleman.
Okay, and of course, I'm not gonna say my social media because everybody know where I'm at. So
Oh, and hit like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe to
That too.
20. He's everyone's friend. He's Tyler.
everyone's friend is Tyler. You want to know the history of the song before I end it? For real, for
yeah,
real?
yeah, I love that song, by the way. It's awesome.
Yeah. So what happened was like back in I think it was 2014. I was with in a chat, like a Skype chat, and everyone said like, "Hey, is everyone's friend is Tyler?" And then it's like, "Yeah, I'm everyone's black friend." And then like we composed the song like the same night because like one of the people that I'm friends with is like a musician,
Mhm.
and so he gave me like the MP3 file, and then it just went on from there.
Did you use an auto-tune pedal or something?
Yeah, he did for his voice.
Okay. It's one of my favorite things about your channel. I'm sorry, it's goofy as all hell, and I love it.
Yeah, and there's so many different variations from the people who watch my channel too.
Yep.
And I don't even ask for the variations too. They just do it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've been subscribed to you probably since 2016, like the heyday of the skeptic community TM.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, like those were the days. Like
Those were
everybody
the days.
used to get along. Now everybody hates each other.
Yeah. And on that note,
All right. On that note, I'll see you guys in the next stream in the next video. Bye bye.